Down the Mississippi River come good old Huckleberry Finn. Not a care to him, he's got a big old grin. Traveling from town to town is what he does. Here's some adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Well, after dinner Friday, we was laying in the grass at the upper end of the ridge and got out of tobacco. I went to the cavern to get some and found a rattlesnake in there. I killed him and curled him up on the foot of Jim's blanket, ever so natural, thinking there'd be some fun when Jim found him there. Well, by night, I forgot all about the snake, and when Jim flung himself down on the blanket while I struck a light, the snake's mate was there and bit him. He jumped up, yelling, "Owie, owie, ow, 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 owie, ow, 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 owie, ow, owie, 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 ow, owie, owie, ow." And the first thing the light showed was the varmint curled up and ready for another spring. And I laid him out in a second with a stick. And Jim grabbed Pap's whiskey jug and began to pour it down. He was barefoot, and the snake bit him right on the heel. That all comes of my being such a fool as to not remember that wherever you leave a dead snake, its mate will always come there and curl around it. I started across to the town from a little below the ferry landing, and the drift of the current fetched me in at the bottom of the town. I tied up and started along the bank. There was a light burning in a little shanty that hadn't been lived in for a long time, and I wondered who had took up quarters there. I looked up and peeped in at the window, and there was a woman about 40 years old in there knitting by a candle that was on a pine table. I didn't know her face. She was a stranger, for you couldn't start a face in that town that I didn't know. Now this was lucky, because I was weakening. I was getting afraid I had come. People might know my voice and find me out. But if this woman had been in such a little town 2 days, she could tell me all I wanted to know. So I knocked at the door and made up my mind I wouldn't forget I was a girl. Come in, take a chair. What might your name be?
Sarah Williams.
Whereabouts do you live? In this neighborhood?
No, ma'am, in Huckleberry, 7 miles down. I walked all the way here and I'm all tired out.
Hungry too, I reckon. I'll find you something.
No, ma'am, I ain't hungry. I was so hungry that I had to stop 2 miles below here at a farm, so I ain't hungry no more. It's what makes me so late. My mother's down sick and out of money and everything, and I come to my Uncle Abner Moore. He lives in the upper end of town. She says he ain't ever been here before. Do you know him?
No, but I don't know everybody yet. I haven't lived here quite 2 weeks. It's a considerable ways to upper end of town. You better stay here all night. Take off your bonnet.
No, I'll be over just a while, I reckon, and go on. I ain't afraid of the dark.
She said she wouldn't let me go by myself, but her husband would be in by and by, maybe in an hour and a half, and she'd send him along with me. This young girl kept a scrapbook when she was alive and used to paste obituaries and accidents and cases of patient suffering in it out of the Presbyterian Observer and write poetry after them out of her own head. It was very good poetry. This is what she wrote about a boy by the name of Stephen Dallin Botts that fell down a well and was drowned. Ode to Stephen Dallin Botts, deceased. And did young Stephen sicken, and did young Stephen die, and did the sad heart sticken, and did the mourners cry? No, such was not the fate of young Stephen Dallin Botts. Though sad hearts round him thickened, 'twas not from sickness shots, no weapon coughed to rack his frame, nor measles drew his spots. Not these impaired the sacred name of Stephen Dallin Botts. Despised his love struck not with woe, that head of curling knots, nor stomach troubles laid him low, young Stephen Dallin Botts. Oh no, then list with tearful eye, whilst I fate to tell, his soul did from this cold world fly by falling down a well. They got him out and emptied him. Alas, it was too late. His spirit was gone for sport aloft in the realms of the good and great. Down the Mississippi River come good old Huckleberry Finn. Not a care to him, he's got a big old grin. Traveling from town to town is what he does. Here's some adventures of Huckleberry Finn.